Hey everybody, what's going on? Let's see. Hello. Hey there. Hey, I missed you guys. It's so nice to be back with everybody. Okay, don't pump me up. Don't pump me up. It's too much. It's too much. How's the audio today? Is the audio okay? I feel like I gotta check every week. Restream just, it don't love me. It don't love me. How do I sound? Hey, how's the audio? Do I sound clear this week? If not, I'll pop the headphones in. Sound good? Audio is good? Fantastic. How's everybody doing? How's your week been? I just realized the other day that I have not asked you all about updates. I know last year we talked about goal setting, we talked about staying the course, uninviting people from your table, but how is it going? We are in March, y'all. We are in March. How is it going? I need an update. I need an update ASAP from somebody. I need details. How's the goal setting going? Is it I'm actually I wrote it down, I'm crossing it off, or are we at the point of March where the goals are really like starting to dwindle a little bit and we haven't really revisited them in quite some time? I need answers. I need answers. How is it going? You're not listen, we talked about this we talked about this a few weeks ago. Okay. I'm now in the family. All right. Y'all not gonna ice me out. Okay. I'm doing good. I'm setting goals for my business and achieving them. Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. Congratulations on that for sure. I uninvited a bunch of people from my table. Absolutely. And I've been progressing and forgiving my parents and family. Oh, my personal goals are being completed and accomplished. Yes. I feel like I should light a candle or something for that. That is wonderful. That is fantastic. I appreciate in the comments, especially that goals don't always have to be tangible. They don't always have to be, I definitely filed with the government, my business name, and all those other things. I appreciate the fact that sometimes the goals are emotional. Um, and that's fantastic. It really is. Just a piece of it all. I'm absolutely loving it. So, congratulations for that as well. Wonderful things. Fantastic. Okay. So, that's good to hear, right? Every so often, I just want you all to check in with the idea that, the goal setting is ongoing. It doesn't have to be just something that you start in January. It doesn't have to be something that concludes in December. It can be when you are mentally prepared to move forward with the idea that I want to meet my future self, no matter what that is. Right. So I am super, super excited for you all and happy that you all are taking the process seriously. And for those who maybe you didn't comment because you realize that you haven't thought twice about it, that's okay too. I really want us to get out of the idea that in order to add to a conversation, we have to add something positive. It doesn't always have to be. Sometimes it's going to be a setback, right? It's going to be, and this is a wonderful place of learning, and we can share that with each other without feeling like, well, I haven't really looked at my goals. I haven't thought twice about them. Your update can definitely be I haven't done that, but I plan to. As long as we're moving forward, that's the goal. Use your environment, this safe space, in order to share with each other, whether that's I'm moving forward, I'm standing still, or I took a step back, right? Um, I have so much goals I can't keep up with them. You know what? That's real. That is real, and that happens often. Like, even as I was sitting here preparing, I thought to myself, I have a ton of stuff to do. I have a ton of stuff to do. And that sometimes happens, and we have no control over those things. So you all know that I try to facilitate these conversations through sharing. Am I frozen? Am I frozen again? Please tell me I'm not frozen. Gemma, I'm frozen on your end. Am I frozen on anybody else's end? Great. Fantastic. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay. As long as I don't freeze in a ugly face, just go ahead and take me down. Take me off the screen. Okay. Um, I've been working through my goals daily for now, but as it gets deeper in the month, I off this leg off. That's reality. Those things happen. They happen all the time. The thing about it is just remaining accountable to yourself to say, actually, I slacked off a little bit, but I'll be back at it. I'm definitely gonna start fresh tomorrow. I want you all to be aware of when tomorrow never comes, though, because that happens too. We kind of get in a space where we're constantly pushing off the task, and I'll do it tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. And I don't want you to get stuck. A quick tip to get unstuck is to make the goal smaller. I know that that sounds like, well, how am I ever going to get there? But the reality of this is, right, 0.0001% will still increase over time. 0% goes nowhere. So even if you're making small increments toward the goal, please keep going. Please keep going. And don't compare your small moving forward to someone else's leap. Not the same. It's just not the same. You can't compare the two. Sometimes people leap and sometimes they're just sitting still. The problem is that they don't document sitting still. So, as far as we know, they're always leaping because that's when they update their status. While you're feeling like you're staying still the whole time. So if you find yourself with your goal setting and you're stuck, make the goal smaller. How do you do that? You break it up, right? If your next step is file your business license and you find yourself just kind of sitting on that and sitting on that, it's probably because it's too big. You need to break that down into action steps of step 1 needs to be research, and you've done your research. That's all you can do, maybe for that day. Next day needs to be, researching, doing something with the research, downloading the form, maybe not filling out the form, downloading the form. You may find out that you thought the form was going to be 30 pages and it turned out to be two. You know, break it down so that it's something that you can definitely work with. If you're standing still, break it down some more. Okay. So I am super, super excited for you all. I'm so glad that you're at least thinking about your goals still into March. This is like right around the time where everybody gets a gym membership come January. February, you're not going as much, and then March comes and you just like, am I still paying for that? Right? We could do the same thing with our goals, right? We can start off really strong, really good, and then we could start to kind of dwindle off. So I'm so glad that you all are at least giving attention to them. It sounds like you're checking some of them off. And for the people on the line that maybe, you're stuck, break that thing down just a little bit more. Okay. I was about to tell experience of how I feel like I have a lot going on right now, but it's nothing I can do about it. I told you all that my son has autism. We're about to start the legal proceedings of that and go into court. Why? Right? It looks like I am going to go forward with surgery. I'm 90% sure about that. And so I have to figure that out and what that means for me and my family. And then, just family stuff, right? You have people who pass away, you have you're taking care of things day to day. Those things happen. And in that space of just life happening, goals get lost. They get lost. Um, I have a someday maybe file. And that means I have a ton of great ideas. I don't have maybe the mental capacity and the energy to give to it right now, but I don't want to lose the idea. So I move it to my someday maybe file. And when I take some things off of my plate, I go to my someday maybe file and I figure out what I want to move forward with. So I wanted to introduce that idea to you as well. Some ideas come in, and when they come, it's a ton. It's a ton of ideas, but it's too much sometimes at once. And when that happens, move it to your someday maybe file. All right, all right. So today's topic. Um, how do you describe how I feel? I listen. I don't know, but I'm glad and I'm happy that it's useful. That's the goal every time, for it to be useful. If it's not useful, there's no point, right? Today's topic is an interesting one, and I hate the term, but I'm gonna use it anyway because I feel like that's kind of what people call it. That's just how it's referenced, and I'm just gonna move forward with it. I want to talk about how not to be a suck up. I really want to address that because at our last time together, right? And I talked to you all about turning the other cheek and not responding and doing more than you're paid to do and all of those things. I got off of that line and I thought to myself, I hope they sure enough don't think I'm a suck up. Because there's a way around that. There's a way um that doesn't need to be a part of who you are, and it doesn't have to be what you represent. You can be kind to people and continue to be kind to them and still set up boundaries of my kindness has a limit. My name is Tay and I have boundaries. You've stepped on one of my boundaries, and this is what this means, and this is how I'm going to respond. If you all meet me in real life, at any point in time, you will realize that that's who I am in real life. The professional thing is great and it's wonderful, but what I find is that people tend to separate the two. They separate professional and personal. And I'm pretty sure somebody somewhere is going to come on with all the alphabet behind their names. They're going to you know argue me down that there's two versions to you. And you know what? If that's what brings you peace, may it be with you. However, I think personally that it is much less exhausting when you only have one face, when you only have one personality, when you are really truly yourself everywhere you go. Now, with that being said, do I take off layers sometimes? Sure, I absolutely do. I withhold sometimes what I have to say, realizing that, I just have way too much spice on that thing. Okay, I came with way too much seasoning, and I realize that it's not going to come out in the best way. So sometimes I choose not to. But I am in every aspect of my life going to speak my truth. And sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. And when it does, I think that's more on them than it is on me. I want to be respectful. I want to enter into your space, realizing that your thoughts are valuable, that you have your own boundaries. You came with your own experiences and things that happened to you in life, and so did I. I want to gracefully say to you that I do not agree. And I want us to walk away from this realizing that we don't have to be enemies. But I want to be clear about the fact that I'm nobody suck up. and and I don't even want it to be where I feel that that's what I'm teaching you all. Um, no, no, that's not what any of that means. Every week when I come on and I'm talking to you all and facilitating a discussion, all of those things are going to benefit you as a person because ultimately the goal is peace. It's peace. You could work 30 years, retire. What do people want? Peace. They want to live in peace. People want to make six figures. They want to make seven figures. They want to have financial stability so that they can have peace. So that they could be okay without feeling like, who's this calling my phone? I hope it's not the company telling me they're going to cut me off. All of those things take away from our peace. And so I argue the fact every week in every circle that I'm in that I'm not going to wait 30 years to have peace. I'm not going to wait until retirement. I'm not going to wait for all my ducks to be in a row. I'm not going to be a millionaire and then have. I'm introducing the idea that you can have those things now. And you can have them without a comma in your bank account. You can have it without having two cars outside. You can have it without having passive income coming in and all of these all of those things. All of those things do not add to your ability to have and maintain peace. So, when the coworker has found out that her baby daddy has a child the same age as her youngest and she came in with an attitude, when the guy that works with you is throwing a fit because he really wanted to talk to you and you shut him down in the most graceful way you knew how. uh when the boss is using the authority that they should have at home in the workplace, I am telling you all that instead of allowing those things to rob you, maintain your peace. Be kind, be generous, be loving. That doesn't make you a punk. It truly does not. It truly does not. Somebody somewhere could say, oh, guess what? I told a lie to Miss Tang and she gave me $50. Can you believe that? You may be able to say that, right? You may have feel like you got one over on me or whatever, but I don't stay up at night missing that. That's going to come back. That's going to come back to me. It is going to hover around me. It's going to surround me because I attract the same thing that I give out. So I'm not staying up at night thinking, did that person really lie to me? Did they really get over on me? I don't allow those things to get to me. I don't allow those things to get to me. So when I work with people, I try and I'm friends with people, I try to be peaceful in that moment. Now, again, depending on what year you met me, there's gonna be somebody somewhere that's like Tell a bald head lie. I'm telling you, she was not like that. Cause I could tell you a story about how she and I can promise you that whatever story they're about to tell you is more likely true. That's the truth. That's the truth. Um, but there came a time in my life where you said, yeah, definitely the year. Okay. There came a time in my life where I decided that I no longer wanted to. That even though I felt like I had the right, I was justified. She said something to me first. I did it before she had the opportunity to do so. I bet you she won't do that again. And while I was all of those things, plus some, I made the decision that that person did not attract love. I don't mean love in a sense of, having somebody head over heels for me. I mean love in a space of having genuine friendships. Having somebody say to you on a call or a text, say the word and I'm there, and they actually show up. Having someone message you and say if there's anything that I can do versus, hey, I'm outside, open the door. Those are two separate things. The person that I was before, while being justified in what I was doing, did not attract love. She just didn't. She just didn't. She was the type of person that people thought twice about saying how they really felt. And because of that, um, people shied away from telling me their truth because I couldn't accept it. If it didn't make sense, I was just like, you could go ahead and keep that because none of what you just said makes sense. And for that reason, I'm going to need you to. And another thing, see, she didn't attract love. I realized that about myself. And so I chose to change it. Any one of you could have been whoever you are for your entire life. You could have said, I was born this way, my mother was like this, my grandmother was like this, and this is just who I am. And I'm here to tell you that if at any point in time that person no longer serves you, stop. It is really that simple to just stop. You don't have to be defined by who you used to be. So I made a decision that I was going to create the ultimate version of myself. And she was going to be generous without fear. She was going to be loving without having to know the purpose. She was going to be complimentary without wondering what someone thought. And I moved forward. And do I have peace at all times? No. I would be lying to you all if I said I had peace at all times. That would be a lie. And I never endeavor to come before you, in front of you, in your space and lie to you all. Sometimes I sit up and I wonder, what am I going to do? How am I going to move forward? Is this really what I want to do? And I make sometimes harsh decisions to cut people off who have been in my life for a very long time. And those things hurt. They hurt. Dismissing someone from the table that you invited to the table to share your space, and then only to realize that they didn't love you the way you thought they did. I would be lying to you all if I said that that didn't hurt. It does. It does. And I've had to make that decision too. But I made the decision again with the future version of myself in mind instead of the one I saw before me that said, you're hurting. Are you sure you want to go through this hurt? Are you sure you want to dismiss this person? Maybe we could just act like we didn't hear that. Maybe we could just move on and forgive them again. And, you know, because you really don't want to be without this person. I mean, remember all the good times that we had together? Remember when they were there for you, when they were your friend? And I thought about all of those things, right? And then I thought about the fact that I've been a good friend to them. I'm a good person. I deserved them being a good friend to me. And they weren't moving forward. And so while they may have served a purpose before, they don't now. And I got to tell them, get up. And that hurts. And all of those things hurt. But you will recover, and the future version of yourself is going to thank you. So, with all that being said, I am actually going to move into my content, which is don't be a suck up. And it really is all about people pleasing. People pleasing is not a great thing if left unchecked. Wanting to make people happy is a wonderful thing. It's all behind us being nice and generous and kind. But those things should really be for you because they serve you. They serve who you have defined yourself to be. So when I talk to you all about when I sat down and really came up with a plan of what I wanted to be known for, that's what I did. I wanted to be known and defined as somebody who was loving and kind and I give you my time and attention and I listen. I defined that for myself, right? Because that's who I wanted to be for me. In defining who you want to be for you, other people benefit. Inevitably, they benefit from you just by you wanting to be that person for yourself. The problem lies when I say unchecked. I mean being a people pleaser to the extent that you're taking a loss. To the extent that you're taking a loss. So I want to really define that for a minute, right? Um, when you're being a people pleaser, you are softening your position in an effort to introduce someone else's. And you really don't have to do that. You really don't have to do that. I can hold my ground, see your position, still do something that compromises without compromising my position. So let me show you what that looks like in a very juvenile sort of sense, right? Um, you're working on a project with someone and you have the idea of how this could go from beginning to end. The person on the other end is like, mm, I don't know. I kind of had an idea that we could go this way. And you could still stand behind the idea that I think my idea better suits the community. I think there are aspects of, service. I think that we could also do this and this and this. But what I can do is compromise on some of the points that I think that we can attack, right? People pleasing looks a little differently. It looks like someone saying, you're working on a project, right? Same scenario. And someone says, how about I have this idea. This is me. I have this idea. And I think that, it has points of service. We could do, help the community. And someone else comes along and they're like, I don't like that idea. You like, I don't either. Yeah. Wow. Why did I think that was such a good idea to begin with? That was stupid. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And that's what I mean by that. When you completely let go of yourself in an effort to define or support someone else. Now, let's say they said that idea and you feel you've actually changed your mind. Oh, I didn't think about that. That's okay. That's feedback, right? That's a great idea. Let's do that. But that's you changing your position willingly. That's not you feeling like you're going to lose the person and so you have to take their side. That's not you feeling like you absolutely have to agree with them 24/7. Have you ever had a friend tell you a story and they're a good friend of yours too? And they go to tell you a story and you think to yourself, no, that actually didn't make sense. And I actually feel like you were the wrong person in this scenario. But you feel like you can't say anything because you don't want to lose them as a friend, that's not a good space to be in. And that's not a good friend. You should have the ability to tell your friend, no, actually, I think you didn't have a place to say that. And I don't think that that was a good idea. I think maybe you should have waited to say something. I think you did something, that was the wrong time. You should have the ability to say those things to your friend if they are your friend and give them feedback. But if you find yourself always having to agree with your friend, even though you know that the things they do are dumb as I don't know what, yeah, I said it. I'm not going to come up with another word for it, a politically correct word. It was dumb, straight up. Whatever they did, it was dumb. And you having to agree with it, that's you being a people pleaser. And you don't have to. You really don't have to. Let's see. The chat wasn't working. They don't want you to be great. Oh goodness. Yeah, to unbecome a people pleaser, it was hard because for a long time I thought my value was tied to Oh, yes. Yes. Two snaps for that one. Absolutely. A lot of people believe that their value is tied to what they can do for others. A lot of people feel that way. And I think that's why it's good to have the exercise of defining what you want to be known for, and then identifying what your value is. And it shouldn't be just going along because, I know that they want me to be this way. They want. If you find yourself always saying they want, you are a people pleaser. You may not even have known that you were a people pleaser, but self reflection helps us with those things and awareness. And we have to decide eventually, what do I want? What do I want? Now again, that I am not in this moment um condemning you for providing a service for others. That's what community service is. That's what service is. You have ill parents, you have a grandmother to take care of. Grandma definitely wants you to do 2 blocks over because she liked the fried rice from this place versus the one that's closer, and you go ahead and do it for grandma. Absolutely. you know, Go ahead and do that. That's okay. There's going to be instances where you don't want to do things and you do them anyway to make the person happy. That happens. I am talking about when this is your everyday, day in, day out situation. It's a lot. It's a lot. And unfortunately, in a personal space, when you do that in your personal life, it always flows into the workplace. It always flows into the workplace. And so you have to be very careful about not taking those qualities into the workplace because they are not your family. They're not your family. People will take advantage of you all day long. And they will let you because, you're a kind person. And they're going to call you at midnight and say, hey, can you finish this project for me? I'm so sorry. I meant to send it to you last week, but I forgot. But I do need it by 9 a.m. And you're like, oh, sure. I mean, I was going to attend my daughter's graduation, but no problem. I'll just go ahead and you know eh, mm. I tell people all the time to do things. If they hire you to do a job, by all means put in the work. Do more than what they paid you for because you will get noticed that way. But don't allow for people to just completely run all over your boundaries all the time. And because you're a people pleaser, you just kind of allow that to happen. So, just as a part of your self reflection of defining who you want to be for the future, please look at how you attack pleasing others and whether you allow people the time and the space to do the same for you. It's a two-way street. If it's not, this might have to be a dead end. We might have to go ahead and detour and send them someplace else because it just can't. We can't allow ourselves to continuously give energy. and people are not giving energy to us. We are worth more than that. We have more value than that. Okay. Second thing on the chopping block. And I know y'all out here talking about I'm stepping on all your toes today. I already know. Just stay with me because sometimes it hurts. Okay? Sometimes it hurts. Uh we gotta address neediness. I know. I know. I know it hurt. Just sink into it. Sink into it. Cause some of y'all are straight needy. Uh, you gotta ask somebody all the time, do you like this? Do you think it's a you just saying that. No, for real. Like, what do you think? Um, you constantly have to get the validation in order for you to see the value in it. You might have been even doing your own thing, something that somebody else has never done before. And yet here you are, still asking a small-minded person what they think about your idea and what they tell you. I I don't know if that could work. I mean, we just from Baltimore. I mean, we ain't never had, we ain't never gonna have, and now because you have that neediness in you, and you didn't get the validation from them, you killed something that should have been given life. You should have given it breath. You should have given it love. You should have nurtured it. But instead, you were needy. Because you were needy and you needed somebody to tell you that it was a good idea. You needed somebody to validate that you're intelligent. You needed somebody to tell you that you should get started. And they are so and you didn't get it. You let it go. So we got to address the neediness. We got to address the neediness. Sometimes you have to go out and realize that you are going to be the only one that's going to get it. And that has to be okay too. That's okay. You know, let's address the neediness. How do you address the neediness? You address the neediness by realizing and questioning yourself. Is it a good idea? I mean, I think it's a good idea. What resources do I have to give it? I mean, I got a bonus coming up. I got my taxes. I guess I could set that money aside and get started. Okay. Um, hmm. What happens if I lose the money? I mean, it wouldn't be that too much of a setback. I would be a little embarrassed maybe because I kind of talked about it and stuff like that, but maybe I won't talk about it and I'll just, come up with a marketing plan and get started, right? The neediness got to go. The neediness has to go. Now, if you surround yourself with like-minded people, sometimes you can get a boost of confidence that way. Confidence doesn't it's not automatic. It's not automatic. Sometimes you want to do something but you don't have the confidence to do it. That happens too. We're human. It happens. But what I am saying to you is to not be needy all the time. Right? Absolutely. Don't let people kill your dreams. You have to be self sufficient sometimes. And being self sufficient sometimes, all times, always should be emotionally. If you don't have the strength emotionally, feel free to, and I tell y'all this all the time, please don't sleep on therapy. Don't feel like therapy is not for me, it's for somebody else. I'm not crazy, so I don't need therapy. Therapy is not for crazy people. It is definitely for someone who is just looking to kind of untangle. I like to use untangle. Some things are just kind of jumbled together and we just need help. And feel free to do that in a safe space. It doesn't have to be, the father, mother, brother, sister, cousin that didn't make it past the eighth grade. And now you're asking them for their approval and they don't have it for you because no one had it for them. People give us many times what they have, and they may not have it, and that's okay too. So a safe space, but we have to do something about the neediness too, always needing approval. Uh, yeah, if you have confidence in what you do, you're always going to be good. I would love to believe that. I don't believe that all the time because some people have confidence, and I'm just kind of like, why? Because your product was not that great. It wasn't that great. I'm laughing because I have an instance in mind, but I will not share. But sometimes people have a false sense of confidence. And that's where feedback comes in. But I'm going to address that a little bit later. I'm going to address it a little bit later. Okay. So, okay. All right. So, let's talk about being defensive. Being defensive, right? Don't be the type of person that women went, there's a lot of small-minded people in Baltimore. They think one way, and it's always a way to do it. Absolutely, absolutely. I almost missed that one. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, so I want to address being defensive, right? Um, be the type of person that. Wait, am I frozen? Please say I'm not frozen, because I'm frozen on both my screens. Am I frozen? Are y'all with me? No, you don't think I'm frozen? Okay. All right. I'm just going to keep talking then. So let me see. Maybe if I cut this off and cut it back on. There we go. Boom. Okay. So being defensive. Feedback is very, very important. It's very, very important. Um, have the ability to get feedback and do something with it. What does that mean? Sometimes you are going to have a product, right? Now, let's say you've put a product out there and every bit of feedback you got back, people were like, actually, I don't think it fit the way it was supposed to. I don't think there was symmetry. You cannot take every bit of piece of feedback and feel like people just hating on you. Now, some people are going to be haters. That's just a reality. But take the feedback and at least acknowledge it. So go back to your product and say, okay, is there any truth to this? And you can do that without allowing it to break you, right? It doesn't have to be you just saying, so let's say your friend comes to you and they purchased your product and they're like, oh my goodness, I really love the bag that you sold me, but the stitching on the handle came unraveled. And you like, oh, so, I mean, it ain't like I see you coming out with a bag, but yet you got something to say about it though. Hey, 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 okay? Take the feedback and move on. Take the feedback and move on, right? Um, Not everybody is out to get you. Not everybody is there to take you down, bring you down, but you can acknowledge it and move on. So sometimes people give you feedback, and you definitely look at your circumstances and you think, do I want to do something about this or I don't? And then I make the decision not to, and I move on. So I'll give you an example. In a business setting, um, a comment had been made to me that I had no right to speak in the meeting. And they were like, maybe in the future you should remain silent. I heard it. I thought about it. I was new on the team. And I thought to myself, do I really want to acknowledge this? I mean, I heard it. Did I speak out of turn? And then I thought to myself, no, I don't feel that way. I think that the person I addressed it to thanked me for my feedback. I think if they had an issue with it, they would have said something to me. So I acknowledged that they gave me that feedback and I moved on. I wasn't upset with the person for saying that to me. I didn't treat them differently because of their feedback. I took it and I decided not to agree. But in another instance, someone gave me feedback and said, "Hey, actually, you may want to consider moving your product to your thumbnail instead of your face. Maybe put your book there." And I thought to myself, That's a great idea. I hadn't thought about that. I appreciate that. And I implemented it. So we don't want to be defensive about feedback. We want to take it, acknowledge it, ask yourself, did it have any, truth to it? Validate, was it valid? And then you move on. And then you move on. We don't have to be defensive about it. We don't have to call people out and say, "Oh, but I didn't hear your idea in the meeting, no, but yet you want to come and talk to me. You want to say something to me though." Okay. We don't have to be that way. We don't have to be the way. You said that used to be me when people critique my singing. I used to take it so personal instead of taking the feedback and applying it, especially for the people I knew who really loved me and wanted the best. Yeah, yeah, I definitely feel that, like how, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my stuff. I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that way. I think I feel that way more about art than I do anything else. Um, they said that's how Gemma used to be when I gave her one of my first tools. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. But that happens. That happens. Um, with my business, with me professionally, personally, I put a little bit of art into everything that I do. And so when people don't like the product, this is me taking. I'm like, "Hmm, okay, thank you for your feedback." That's me on the inside. And sometimes I'm not always mature, right? I'm gonna admit that to y'all. I could be real with y'all. I'm not always mature, right? So in my mind, I'm like, this hating wench here had to say something to me. She just had to say something to me. It don't have nothing to do with nothing. She just a wench. Like, why is she even talking to me? I have those moments in my head sometimes. And then I evaluate how I feel and I'm like, I just don't like the fact that she said something to me. I mean, what she said was accurate though. So I guess I could do something about that. But I'm not gonna let her know that she had that sort of impact on my life. Right then I'm like, why are you acting like this? why are you acting like this toward this person? Don't be like that. Don't act like that. And I'm like, all right, fine. All right, cool. Right? I have those moments with myself where I'm immature about it. I don't like this and I don't like that. And then I come around. I come around. So I'm not always mature in my head sometimes. Sometimes I don't like the fact that people said something to me. They didn't like my idea. I felt like it was a good idea, those sort of things. But I definitely give myself a pep talk. That's how I lead to me not being needy sometimes. Sometimes I pep talk my dang oneself. I talk myself down. Sometimes I talk myself in. Sometimes I talk myself completely on the sideline and I'm just going to watch this time around. I pep talk myself. Those things happen. So I try to support myself. And I know that sounds so crazy. Like, you support yourself. I absolutely do. Sometimes I take a minute and I just congratulate myself. I congratulate myself on how far I've come, for the fact that I used to be very aggressive and abusive with my language. And I have tried to and endeavored to change that about myself. And I see progress. I congratulate myself for my circle, for the people who are around me that love me, who have nothing but good stories to say about me. I congratulate myself. And sometimes I evaluate myself and I am tired. I'm exhausted mentally. And when I feel that way, I support myself. I give myself self care and self love. Um, I support myself. That's not to say that I don't have a support system, but support has to come from me first. It has to be me telling me I did a great job. It has to be me telling myself that you're going to rest after this is over and you deserve to do so. And you're not lazy. You're not just doing nothing. You are replenishing yourself. I'm good to me. I'm real good to myself. I told my sister this recently. Um, she said to me, so I told you all I moved, right? And I have a rack over top of my soaking tub, and it's a wine rack. She was like, "You have a wine rack in your bathroom?" I take myself out on dates. I absolutely do. I light a candle for myself. Feel great. I treat myself well. I try to. Am I 100% on that all the time? Not all the time, but I'm getting there. That's on the goal list. That is on my goal list. Okay. Yes, supporting ourselves is important because the feeling afterward is a good feeling, especially when you don't feel like no one else is or you don't feel like you can see the end goal. 100%. Um, I used to suffer with the idea of feeling invisible, and I didn't feel seen. And looking back on that, I'm not sure if it was the fact that I was invisible as much as I allowed my emotions to be. And because I allowed my emotions to be invisible, the people around me didn't know when to give support. And so now I try very hard to listen to myself, listen to my mind when I need to be seen. I seek out and search for what I need. And I don't always expect for people to know and see and become what I need for them to be. I have to tell people what I need from them. And I have to trust that they are going to deliver. And so, I just try to be good to myself. I try to be good to myself. Um, we must take care of ourselves, taking care of our mental, because if you aren't good, you can't be good for anyone else. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Um, I'm going to introduce another thought to that because I think that is a wonderful place to be. Um, Again, though, being stuck. Sometimes people use that as an excuse to not be good to others. They'll say, "Well, I'm not good, so I can't be good to you." And that's okay for maybe day one, week one, month one, but now we on year five. And you're still being unkind to other people because you're thinking, "Well, I'm not kind to myself," and you're stuck. So again, if you are stuck, even mentally, seek out help. Seek out help so that you can be good to yourself and good to others. But I 100% agree with that, Keon. You can't be good to others really if you aren't good to yourself. People really treat others the way they treat themselves. They're not going to be good to you and treat you better than I treat myself. That's temporary. But ongoing, people, if they are in a place of authority, they tend to treat others the way they treat themselves. If you have a boss that when you mess up, they are just badgering you. I can't believe you would make such a stupid mistake. Like that was a stupid mistake. That's how they talk to themselves. Believe that that's how they talk to themselves. And that's unfortunate because people who speak well to themselves don't don't speak unkind to others. Know that, trust that, and believe that. If they are abusive in their speech, it's because that's how they treat themselves. Nobody wakes up and they are whole within themselves and they compliment themselves and they try to set goals within themselves and they accomplish that. That person who is healed doesn't go out and harm others. That's not what they do. But hurt people, that's for sure. Um, I feel the same way sometimes. I feel like my best wasn't good enough. Um, Khadija, I have struggled with that for a very long time. I struggle with the idea that my best just was not good enough. Um, and if you feel like that, or if any of you feel that way, I want to challenge you in this moment to take a break from your goals, take a break, and write down all the things that you have accomplished. And maybe again, not the tangible things, write down how you have assisted others, write down the good things about yourself. And it may take you some time to do that. It's not going to be easy by any means because we have been trained as a society to not compliment ourselves because that means that we lack humility. But I'm not telling you to wear it across your chest, but I am telling you to remind yourself to look in the mirror and have the ability to like the person that's looking back out at you. And if you don't, then change it. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we fly off the handle. Sometimes we're unkind to our little brother and our little sister because they interrupted us at the wrong time and we feel bad about that afterward. Sometimes we were not kind, but we can change those things about ourselves too. But take a break and remind yourself. Um, Yes, you 65 years old saying I'm in a bad place, so I don't care how I talk to others. Like, heck, you've been in a bad place for 30 years. That is so true, though. That is so true. Remember, and I just learned this and really got it. Forgiveness for yourself, not the other person. 100%. 100%. 100%. Um, I've learned that closure isn't a real thing, not in the way that people think it should be. That's why forgiveness is important. But y'all dropping all types of gems in the chat today. Nothing about healing is a 10-minute process. Man, listen, let me just go ahead and stop now because y'all just round here just teaching, okay? A whole sermon. Then where Joni at with the organ? I'm grateful that I can learn this stuff while I'm young. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing about learning it and knowledge is that it's safe and nobody can take it from you unless you decide that it doesn't serve you anymore. That's the wonderful thing about the mind and your ability to will yourself into doing something, into putting something on paper and then seeing it through because you willed yourself there. You said, I don't want this anymore, and you stopped. You said, I want that over there, and you got it. And then you decided to yourself that you were going to create another version of yourself, and you shed off the old version and put on something new. Nobody can take that from you. No, nobody. Nobody can take that from you. People can come and say, but that wasn't you 5 years ago. That wasn't you 10 years ago. And I bet you they cannot say that about themselves because it's still them now. They still want to take you down by reminding you about who you used to be. You talking about a dead person. That person gone. They don't live here no more. Um, he said, Gemma said, make sure you're not traumatizing people in the process of healing. Ooh. Mm. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. That one was that's for sure. That's a that one need to be on a t-shirt on front of a notebook or something. To my future days. Absolutely. Listen to the ones older than you. That's really trying to tell you something. It's good for you to be coachable and just soak up game. It's good for your soul. Absolutely, Keon. If you talk about a healthy older person, not them traumatized ones. Not the ones that just want to tell you about every bad experience. That now you can learn though. You can learn from other people's bad experiences, but make sure that they're in a place where they've healed from them. Because if they haven't healed from them, they kind of just still want to, drag people down, and that's an unfortunate thing. Um, y'all, it that's our hour. That's our hour. I feel like at this time now I know all y'all say every week, like, where did the time go? I feel that way today. I have no idea where the time went. And I dare not even open up another topic because it's been an hour. I know. I don't know what happened. I listen, I looked up and was like, no, that time can't be right. I I don't know what happened, y'all. I don't know what happened. I wish Keon, I mean, I'm so, Lord, like Keon. I have a Keon in my life. Kevin. Kevin. I wish, Kevin. I wish. I think that I wish again that I had learned certain things when I was younger. You all are fortunate because you all get to learn from all of my mistakes from a healed place. You get to learn from my mistakes from a healed place. Um, I wish that I had learned from things from healed people. That would have been great. That would have been wonderful. So I wish, Kevin, I wish I could be in somebody's class, just having the conversation that nobody had with me, without any reservation, no seatbelt. We just gonna have that raw conversation. So, um, that's our time for today. That's our time. But I have a ton of more things to discuss the next time we're together. I hope that I remember that because I really want to talk about lying the next time. Oh, mm. Y'all ready for that conversation? Y'all ready for the lying conversation? I hope so. So I will see you all in 2 weeks. But I just want to I didn't want to have this conversation right now, but I do feel like I want to prepare you all. I will not be with you all in April. So I gotta take care of myself. I gotta go ahead and get this surgery done. So I will not be with you all in April. But I really want to tell you all that again, like I close out every session. I know I'm a little bit over Cam. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Um, I tell you all this every session that it is my honor and it's my privilege. And I want you all to know every time we're together that you are a dream come true for a girl that was 7 years old. And so, thank you all for allowing me to be in your space. You deem me worthy enough to have a conversation with me and engage me every time I'm on here. And I could not be more honored or privileged to be welcomed into this space with you all. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you all in 2 weeks. All right, y'all. See y'all next time.